Is the Meepo Hurricane a performance beast? Let's find out. So the Meepo Hurricane has some ridiculous stats and some ridiculous performance specs. So let's put this thing to the test. I'm going to put it through the singular test that I think tells you just about everything you need to know, and that is the gut hill climb. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's first look at all the speed modes that this board has. So it has 4 speed modes. Speed mode 1 is very conservative. You know, maybe 5-6 miles an hour. Really slow, really basic. Speed mode 2 is a little bit faster, but still I would say pretty conservative with a top speed of, call it 12-13 miles an hour. And then modes 3 and 4 have the same top speed of around 30, according to this, I think with the all-terrains. They just have a different acceleration profiles. So speed mode 4 has much more torque and accelerates much more quickly than speed mode 3, despite the fact they both have the same top speed. I think most people are going to find speed mode 3 to be the most fun and the mode that most people use. Now, whenever you're going to try to go pretty fast on one of these boards, you really need safety equipment. So there are helmets, full face helmets that will guard your chin and your teeth and your nose in case you fall. Always a good idea. There are also more traditional skate helmets like these Nobleman helmet where you can also get some customization on the side, a traditional skate helmet. There are knee pads and elbow pads. Nobleman Tech makes these. These are Kevlar heavy duty knee pads that will really save your knees and elbows if you ever get into a crash, hopefully not. You can also get these hip girdle pads where it will pad your hips and your tailbone that you can wear underneath pants and nobody will even know they're there, but they can really save your hips in a crash. Gloves, these are cycling gloves, fingerless cycling gloves, and also Nobleman Tech makes some more skate designed gloves. Now, in terms of your upper body, there are different choices. Here is a Beyond armor plated jacket. It's more of a shirt jacket, but you can see it has armor in the back, the upper back. It also has it in the shoulders and the elbows, and it's designed to look like more casual wear rather than, you know, a big bulky, you know, almost like a motorcycle jacket. But it's got styling that you may or may not like, and there are other choices like this out there. No matter what you do, check out these safety equipment because it's really, really important, especially if you're going to go high speeds. Now, the gut performance test, the gut is a 2-mile rolling hill climb. You can see the current leaderboard. The Meepo All-Wheel Drive Pro, which is a 4-wheel drive, you know, longboard with massive power, is our leader at 4 minutes and 32 seconds, and leader by a lot. So the question is, can the Hurricane threaten the top spot? Well, let's head out and find out. So as we approach the gut here, we're getting ready to start, and we're off. Now, I'm starting to feel out this board a little bit. You know, I've definitely put a few miles on it, but I'm starting to get a better feel for it. And in particular, I've talked about dual kingpin trucks and high-speed boards, and usually they don't go well together. Dual kingpin trucks are designed for turning, not going fast, but I think the bushing truck combo with this board actually is pretty good. Now, I have these pneumatic all-terrain wheels on, and for those of you that watch this, you know the gut, and you can just see it is in pretty bad shape. The tarmac is just broken and messy, and these wheels are just, you know, cloud smooth. They're just terrific. Now, the first part of the gut here, I'm cooking pretty good here. I've gone up that first hill, and it was really handling that very well. And we're getting to the first, you know, steep section where a lot of boards are just really on their knees in terms of slowing down. And you can see the Hurricane is just knifing through this hill, you know, at 20 miles an hour, not slowing down too much, and is really knifing through this hill. And so that is a very good omen for the rest of the run, and really it's doing some pretty significant work here. And as we come up to the first checkpoint, we're 4 seconds behind that all-wheel drive Pro, so we just need to get on our horse. Now, this flatter section, you know, you can start to let it run a little bit, and don't get too bogged down with the speedometer. You know, it's an app calculating instantaneous speed in a place that doesn't have great perception, but it's good enough for a barometer. But you can see now I'm hitting the mid-upper 20s, and I'm starting to let it run a little bit, and I'm getting more comfortable with the speed. And we're coming up to this longer, more extended, a little bit flatter climb. And this is where this board could really shine. So just hit 29. So now we're going up this hill that's probably more like a standard hill that you might see, not too steep, but it's sustained. And this is where the board is really starting to shine. It's just starting to eat up this hill. And again, most boards are going, in the upper teens, like 16, 17 miles an hour. This board is going in that mid-20s. So it's trying to give this all-wheel drive Pro a run for its money. And as the hill gradually flattens out, you can just see the pavement blasting by. Look at that rock wall just whizzing by on the left as we're approaching, the upper 20s and so forth. And now, as we get to the end of as we approach this second checkpoint, we'll check the times. The last section of the gut is where this board could really do some damage because it's the worst pavement of the entire run, and these wheels should really help me maintain my speed. But it's also where boards tend to get battery sag even after just this distance because it taxes the battery dramatically. And this thing has a gigantic battery. So let's see the second checkpoint. Okay, so we're down 3 now, and we made up 1 second, but this last part of the gut is really where this thing could cook. So we're going through this little chicane. You got to back off the throttle here just to be safe. There's a van coming around or a truck coming around the bend there. You want to be careful. And now it's back on the throttle. And again, these wheels going over debris and bumps in the road just really are really nice and confidence inspiring. I probably couldn't do anywhere near this kind of speed with the 90mm wheels. I just wouldn't feel comfortable, and the bumps would just become a big problem. So now that big old battery with no sag is really starting to shine. We're cranking speed up to this one of the last steep sections, and it's carrying it beautifully through here. Mid-20s, it's not really slowing down, and if you get any battery sag, this is where it shows up. This is where you're doing like 10, 11 miles an hour, and it's fighting to get up the hill. This board is just rocketing up this hill and just gobbling up the pavement. And it has a much bigger range than the all-wheel drive Pro. And the all-wheel drive Pro, the battery started to sag a little bit near the end. So here we come up to this dangerous part, got to split the potholes right through there, and carrying speed, still in the lower mid-20s. We come through this last corner, and it's back on the throttle, and we're coming up towards the end. 4:32 is the time to beat. A little wet section of road there. We're coming up to the end here. It's going to be close. And it's 4:30. We have a new leader. So with a 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 4.5 minutes right on the button, the Meepo Hurricane is now the new top dog in the gut leaderboard, beating the really impressive all-wheel drive Pro by just 2 seconds. But if you look how it did it, I think that's the most impressive part. We're a little behind in the first steep section. That could have been me being conservative, and we made up some time, a little bit of time in the second section, but the last section is really a massive difference. That 5 seconds is a big deal, and that is the wheels helping out, absorbing the road. That's my confidence in those wheels going over those bumps and being able to carry more speed. And it's also the big battery just pumping out power all the way along. So if you want something that'll get your adrenaline pumping, this board is a rocket ship.